So the first mistake that we normally make when we approach a course in wisdom is that we think we have attained the same level of spiritual attainment as those master gurus. And as a result of that, we're not able to benefit from their instructions. We don't follow. We do not follow. They tell us go this way, we go the other. Right? They tell you don't do this, we do the opposite. And the net result is something. So even when we have the benefit of hearing their teachings and their instructions, right, with this kind of wrong view in the mind, we still don't benefit. One of the interesting things that Maharaji, my own guru, used to always point out to us, was that if you're really following the master and the teachings correctly, you will be experiencing happiness. That's a touchstone. That you're doing it right. If you follow the system and you're not experiencing happiness, then that means that you haven't followed it correctly yet. What is the second one? The second one is the feeling that there's no need for you even to receive teachings. All right? Now this is deep. We have the view that I don't really need to receive no teachings. Going to where the teachings are being dispensed becomes optional. What we call satsang. Satsang becomes optional. Whether I hear the teachings or don't hear the teachings, it makes no difference. How can you fashion a life based on wisdom if you have not even heard the wisdom teachings? If you have not heard teachings, how would you understand teachings? And of course, the question of practicing the teaching doesn't even arise. Right? So that's another attitude that we bring to our pursuit of wisdom that makes our receiving of this wisdom almost impossible. Because we feel there's no need for us to receive any teachings at all, or on the occasion. And this now makes us miss the opportunity to receive teachings. In many lifetimes, when the Buddha was here, or Jesus was here, we had an opportunity to go and sit in those satsangs. Millions of times. You did not go. You were busy. You understand? With your trivia. Lost in your trivia. And you said to yourself, well, you know, I catch Buddha next time. But you died that night. You understand? And you never
please contact the front desk, please.
Oh, yeah, Jesus down there in Galilee. I might go down there today and check him out, but, you know what I mean? It's a good game coming on. I really don't need to hear what Jesus said. I mean, I heard all that stuff before. I understand what these guys are talking about. It is that attitude that I don't need teachings. I don't need to even hear teaching. It's optional. When it's convenient, or maybe it ain't convenient, then okay. You can't get wisdom like that. You can't get no wisdom like that. A real seeker of wisdom is going to be on it. That's their whole function. That's their whole purpose in life. That's their 24/7. They are in search of teachings. And they're going to hear teachings wherever the teachings are. They're going to make the journey. They're going to make the pilgrimage. They're going to do whatever is necessary. They're going under rocks, behind trees, up in anywhere that they even hear a rumor that teachings are being given. They do it. That's a precious use of the spirit of teachings. But as long as the receiving of teachings remain optional, then it's going to be very difficult for us to really take advantage of those teachings. The next one that we have to look at, and again, because we're trying to get prepared for this thing here. I'm trying to give you some insight. I don't want to mislead you in any way, knowing about what the requisites are for the attaining of the level of wisdom that you want, because you all want some deep wisdom in here, from what I heard, right? And so these are the things that we got to work on if we're going to get those levels of wisdom. The other thing is to become distracted. I'm using a few Sanskrit words because they say things much better. So some of you may not be familiar with the term satsang. Most of you, I'm sure, have heard it. But it's simply a gathering where the teachings are being disseminated. And one of the other things that blocks our reception of wisdom is that even when we go to hear the teaching, we are all distracted. You can't even pay attention. We're so distracted. The world is rushing so much in on us. You know, that we get so distracted, we lose the flow of the teaching, and ultimately we just fall asleep. And you see it all over the place, in churches and synagogues and gurdwaras and temples. People have somehow managed to get there, and then they just go to sleep. Again, they miss the whole point. It is like a cup being face down in a rainstorm. It ain't getting nothing. The time you spend sleeping and drifting off in your mental reverie is time wasted. You didn't get nothing. You didn't hear something. There was something said that you needed to hear, and you were asleep somewhere. Or your mind was on, damn, you know what I mean? It's almost 5 o'clock. That day is going to be starting. I got to get the hell. I hope they hurry up. You understand? Hurry up and take it. Why is it taking so long? You know? You get distracted. And as a result of this distraction, you can become so distracted that you just fall asleep. And you see it everywhere. One of the most astounding experience I had was going to India where my master, my guru, my teacher resided. And we call it the Dera. And went to the Dera, right? And, you know, and here Maharaji is up there and he's giving satsang, you know. And I mean, you know, you done travel 8,000 miles for this, right? And you get there, and I couldn't believe it. You know, people were snoring. I said, what? This is madness. You know, here a Buddha is here, and you sleep. What is that? You're distracted. You're caught up in the distraction, and you miss the teachings. So there's a kind of way that we have to approach, and I'm just sharing with you the things that are required on our side if we are to really attain our respective goals and ambitions in our journey toward enlightenment. You see, God is doing his part. The rain is falling.
Jimbo, please contact the courtesy desk, please, Jimbo.
That are upside down and therefore is not collected up. Right? So we have to become very attentive even when the teachings are being given. We have to pay attention. We have to pay attention. So, and again, we have to look and see to what extent we are suffering from these qualities. And I guarantee you, we all are suffering from some of them. Some of us are suffering from all of them. The next one is annoyed. I know that sounds strange, but annoyed and irritated. We become annoyed and irritated in the environment where the teachings are given. Or it's too hot in here. Damn, why don't they cut that heat down? You're all distracted by the environment in which the teachings are given. So much so that you can't even pay attention to the teaching. Right? Now some noise is going on here, some noise is going on there, traffic is going on, and you just annoyed, you're irritated, and everything is distracting you, and they go on talking, and why so-and-so keep asking that question, and how long is he going to talk? He's been talking 4 hours already. Man, I'm tired of this. You become annoyed and irritated. You don't have much patience. How are you going to attain wisdom? You don't even have any patience. It is classically Western. We have that McDonald mindset where we want to drive up, order enlightenment, and pull off in 3 minutes. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that, but we don't have that patience. Right? And so we quickly become annoyed and irritated in our pursuit of wisdom. Brother, you were talking about the wisdom of the ancient African mystics and sages. I'm here to tell you that the first thing they would have made you do, if you would have waited till 12 years, they wouldn't even talk. It would have made you involve yourself in mediocre things. Just to see if you had this, just to see what you were suffering from. They're diagnosing you. You understand? Pythagoras, the great Greek mystic, sage, philosopher, right? When traveling to Egypt to be initiated into the mystery system. And remember, this is Pythagoras. Brilliant mind. Had already been initiated into many of the secret systems in India. In some respect, was a master in his own right. That made him wait 22 years to initiate him, even into the Lord's order. Pythagoras understood that and went through it. You understand? So even if we were able to, again, access that strain of mysticism, you couldn't handle it. You can't pay the price for it. You'll get bored too quickly. So, we tend to become annoyed and irritated in just the environment. And all of these are weaknesses on our side. Now, I'm not saying that this condemns you. Please, I'm not trying to condemn anybody. I'm trying to make us understand what is required from our side. You've been trying to find a perfect master, a perfect teacher, someone who's fully enlightened. What makes you think they want you as a disciple? Why? It is almost like a lot of time I hear sisters talking about, you know, I want a man that got a good job, a lot of money, and he don't do drugs. What would such a man want with you? Why should he marry you? What is it so special about you that a man with all of these qualities wants you? It's sort of like that when we come to the fact. Now you want a teacher of the status of a Buddha, perfect master, perfect enlightened, the greatest master in fact. But you ain't the greatest disciple. What benefit would you get from being in the company of the greatest master? Look at you. You won't derive any benefit from it. It's an ego trip. That's all. Just a way for you to arrogate status to yourself. You know, I'm a disciple of the great master. You know what I mean? Nonsense. Just pure bullshit. You see? So, one of the qualities then that we have to work against is this tendency for us to be easily annoyed and irritated, and where the teachings are being dismissed, right? And to remain focused. Another thing that can happen in these satsangs is that we can become discouraged. Easily discouraged. Oh man, the teachers is too high now. You know what I mean? Oh man, I can't do that. I mean, these guys talking about bringing my life into a moral structure, right? To start using my sexuality correctly, to stop lying, stop slandering, stop cheating. You know what I mean? Stop stealing. I can't do none of that stuff. You become discouraged. You start feeling I cannot adjust my life according to the teachings. And when you have that wrong view, now it's all over with for the child. Because if you have that feeling in your heart that you cannot attain enlightenment, then you cannot attain enlightenment. It's as simple as that. If the mystic say, well, you got to do this amount of meditation. Man, I can't do this kind of meditation. Okay. If you take that view, then how would you follow instructions? You have just imposed a limitation on yourself. And the mystics are telling us continuously that this is nonsense. Whatever a Buddha attained, you can attain. Whatever Jesus attained, you can attain. What is the problem? They're not greater than you. We all have Buddha nature. And your Buddha nature is as good as any Buddha's Buddha nature. It's as simple as that. All of us have the potential to become aware of God and our oneness with God. I said from the outset here, the question of oneness is not the issue. The question is awareness of that oneness. And by virtue of the fact that you have a human body means that you have the potential to recover that awareness of the oneness. Period. But when we are discouraged from the wrong understanding about our own fundamental self, then we feel that, oh, I can't do this. And feeling that way, you do not apply yourself to the path. And that's something that we all do. We don't apply ourselves to the path. Because deep down inside somewhere, you don't feel that you can do it. You know? It really is not. You're not convicted with the love of your heart. You know, I'm gonna make a little effort, but I know I ain't gonna be able to concentrate my time. So I'll try 2 or 3 times. I knew I wasn't gonna make it. You see what I'm saying? I could have told the master that from Jump Street. You won't listen to nobody, etc. Right? Point is that we have to avoid becoming discouraged in our pursuit for the wisdom. Right? And try to really understand, clearly understand, that we have the potential by virtue of our human existence to attain enlightenment in this life. And we have to be clear on that. The last one, of course, is lack of faith. Lack of faith. The 3 kinds of faith, in fact. Now, the ancient African sages, you study the mystery systems, before they will accept a neophyte for training, they will want to examine that neophyte to make sure that that neophyte had the 3 types of faith. The first type of faith was faith and confidence in the master. That the master knows more than I know. Right?